I keep my tortoises from getting sick? What it comes down to is husbandry. All aspects of the animal's care. Habitat, that means feeding. That means handling. It is basically by providing them with the best possible environments for them to live in. Hey, what's going on? Happy New Year, everybody. Kenan here, and well, today is a beautiful day. It's been raining so much in South Florida that I almost forgot what blue skies look like. It's nice to see them again. It's also nice to see the animals out and behaving the way they should, moving around, grazing, eating cactus, as you saw that radiated tortoise behind me doing. We had some cool nights, but they're out and about today. Here's some right now doing a little grazing, and today I'm just kind of walking around making sure everyone's all right. But I figured it'd be a good time for me to answer a question that was asked from one of our Patreon supporters. Check this out.
Thank you to our amazing supporters who help to make this show possible every week. Your support makes a real difference in our efforts here at Kamp Kenan. This week's special shout out goes to Jess Harker. Thank you for all you do and for loving reptiles.
This Malaysian box turtle is just hanging out right on top of the grass. How funny is that? Just hanging, that's pretty cool. I love wandering around and seeing all the different ways the animals behave with the environments that I actually have created for them. And today's question comes from Larry Cashdan, one of our Patreon supporters, and he asks, basically, Kenan, how do I keep my tortoises from getting sick? That's a great question, actually. Basically, what it comes down to is husbandry. With any reptile, you're gonna wanna make sure that you take care of their husbandry. Now, what is husbandry? Husbandry is all aspects of the animal's care. So that means habitat, that means feeding, that means handling. All the things that we do with our animals or provide for our animals in captivity is considered animal husbandry. So as you can see, what I like to preach here at Kamp Kenan is I love the large outdoor enclosures, but I still do keep animals in less realistic environments. And sometimes those environments can be very good as well because all of the animals' needs are met. And right now, when I'm done with this video, I'm gonna get to work on cleaning out the filtration on my aquascape ecosystem pond. It's due for its 6 months cleaning because I've noticed that the water is starting to get a little bit more murky, so that probably means I need to do a little bit of maintenance on the pumps and on the biofalls behind me. So that is part of the husbandry of the animals in this enclosure. And there is one of my really cool albino Oscars. And we've also got the river terrapins in here, the Batagur borneensis, and we've got pink belly side necks as well. Sometimes I forget. And of course, we have the little Malaysian box turtles as well. Here's one actually hiding out right underneath this log. Let's have a peek at it. All right, so basically husbandry is what you do to maintain the animal's overall well-being. So when you ask me, Larry, how do animals, or how do I keep my animals from getting sick? It is basically by providing them with the best possible environments for them to live in. I moved down to South Florida specifically so I could keep my animals outdoors. I just feel it's the best possible way to keep larger tortoise species healthy. Here's Socrates. Hey, Sox, what's going on? And of course, we've got Nostradamus right there, hanging about. There he is. Good old Nostradamus, looking just beautiful today. And Darwin I saw out earlier, and she's over here. Here she is. So basically, guys, I like to keep the animals stress-free, healthy, natural diets, best I can, supplemented by a good quality commercial food. Basically, when you're doing that, you're really going to be making sure that the animals are living the best possible way they can, right? Hey, what's up, Darwin? Good to see you. And then, of course, just looking at the animals. That's all part of it as well, animal husbandry. You notice right here, there was some damage to Darwin's shell. Now this, believe it or not, is a minor damage, and this is just something that happens. It could have happened in the wild, and as I keep them in these large enclosures, they'll move around, they'll bang their shells against each other and some of the barriers. These animals are from a very volcanic island where they would definitely get superficial scrapes and cuts like this. This one obviously went down to the bone, but they are such tough animals that they're able to heal, and that's what the shell does. It really does provide them a buffer for that environment. And also protection. So this is all part of it. I just looked. Now, had there been something bleeding or something else that I notice on the shell, look, here you go, another little bit of damage, it happens. If there was anything else on this animal, I would then have to assess it and make sure I brought the animal to a proper vet, or I might have had to do some kind of work on the animal myself. So again, we're kind of covering all the things that I do to make sure that the animals are healthy. Regular walks, which is what I'm doing right now, trying to look at all the animals and see that they're behaving correctly. It's very, very important. Now, at homes that are up north, or if you're keeping your animals indoors, you could do this much easier. You can also really dial in the environments to where it's gonna be easier for you to control all the different factors. So if you have the right species and you're keeping them indoors, like you could potentially have one of these redfoots up north, and if you're keeping them correctly, you're going to have the right humidity, the right diet, the right lighting. As you guys know, in the last 30 years, reptile keeping, oh, there's Lego. Lego is the tortoise that I had gotten sight unseen that was obviously not being kept in an optimal situation, as you can tell by that metabolic bone disease pyramiding that you can see happening. This over to the left is what I would consider acceptable pyramiding. You're going to get some of that in captivity from time to time, but this, where you see that U shape, really not good. Luckily, I got this animal, and now she lives outdoors, and it won't get any worse, but unfortunately, she'll never get any better. Now, to go back to what I was talking about as far as keeping these animals in captivity up north or in a controlled environment indoors, you guys can really do a good job, because as long as you have all the parameters for lighting, diet, humidity, space, all those requirements being met, well, then your animals are going to be really doing well. I was just looking at this elongated tortoise that's just hanging out here out of the water bowl. Okay, now for me, obviously these animals, a lot of the animals I keep, I like to keep outdoors. A lot of them are from tropical parts of the world. Now for me, there are challenges keeping them outside, because Florida, although it's a fantastic place to live, and as far as the continental United States, the weather is incredible, it's still not perfect for some of the animals. So that's why I have the heated shelters, as you can see right here. All those shelters are all heated. I make sure that I'm keeping up with the animals and moving them into the shelters if it gets too cool for them. Also, we have lots of rainstorms, things of that nature. So I gotta be careful with some of the more drier animals that require a more dry environment, like my leopard tortoises. Here is a cherry head, and what I like to do is I plant some edibles just on the outside of their enclosure. We got some cactus, we got some elephant ear, and then as they fall down, they become a little treat for these guys, and it really works well. So there's different things that I do in the planning of these enclosures that really help out the animals and really gives them also stimulation in a natural diet. Again, all of this has to do with husbandry. So it's very important to learn as much as you can via books and videos like these, but then it's also important for you to apply the knowledge, and then once you're doing that, you're actually going to learn a lot more just by doing. So many of the things over the last 16 years living here in Florida, I had to learn from trial and error. Now, fortunately, I had a lot of good people that I was able to work with and learn from. Sam Pascucci, Ty Park, all sorts of really knowledgeable people that have been doing it here in Florida for either the same amount of time or a little bit longer. There's a little Greek tortoise, but let's go have a look at my Rhino Iguanas. Hey, what's up, Petro? Good to see you. These guys, oh, a little sneeze. I hear you. Getting rid of a little salt? No problem. So there he is. Beautiful, beautiful animal. And again, his environment even though we are in the greater Florida ecosystem, I've raised this dirt up off the ground, lots of gravel to help it drain. We've got a roof that's clear, so there's some light that gets through, albeit it's not going to be UVB, but here he's getting his UVB from the sun, and we've got nice drainage here. We've got water that overflows into this little water bowl. That's all these guys need to drink. They just need a little water bowl. They do not need to soak. They just need that bubbling water. When it comes down, it agitates it. The tortoises get at it. The Greek tortoises come over to it when they want, and then these lizards, of course, will drink. And that's one of the little tips I'll give you, is the rhino iguanas like to drink from agitated water, much in the same way that my sulcata tortoises are attracted to it, because where these animals are from, there's not a lot of standing water. So what they do is they drink after it rains or during rainstorms. Okay, so there you have that. But these guys are doing really well. I just wanted to show you that even though I'm in a larger ecosystem or a larger climate, I'm able to modify it the best I can to suit certain animals' needs. We don't want these guys to be on swampy earth. So like I said, I've raised it all up. Here's Petra. She's right over here along with another Greek tortoise having a little bit of a sunbathe. I love when they're out doing their thing. Hey, sweetheart. She had so many beautiful babies this year. Her best year ever. 11 eggs, 11 hatchlings, 1 mortality of the hatchlings. So I had 10 babies that are just doing amazing. Some of you have been purchasing them, and that's really cool. But these guys and this mama here, she is just spectacular. Really, really excited about the way she's been doing everything. So again, when you have an animal that's living outdoors or living in captivity, and that animal is then reproducing, and you're reproducing fertile, healthy offspring, that's really a testament to how they like the way they're being kept. So again, husbandry. That's like almost the word of the day, isn't it? Animal husbandry. So very cool. I dug up an egg out of here last night. So there were some eggs. These guys are reproducing as well. All right, let's get out of here and see who else is doing well. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this little impromptu lesson on animal husbandry here at Kamp Kenan. You can do a good job with animals indoors as long as they're animals that aren't too huge. I just feel personally, for me, knowing that I wanted to work with larger reptiles, I wanted to make sure I had the space, and I love seeing them outside. And believe it or not, with as much work as I have to do here, hello everybody, there's Pinky. With as much work that I have to do to keep these animals healthy, it's a lot easier being that they're outdoors, because I don't have to worry about the lighting requirements now, do I? So these animals have the UVB. Over here is Marty, the water monitor, the Mertens monitor. Let's have a look at him. There he is. What's up, Marty? I know you like to puff up and act all bad, but you know what, dude? Just say hello to everybody for me. Really, really cool lizard. All these animals, again, have a water source. The water overflows, so it drains out, and it's constantly being cleaned. And then we have heated shelters for them as well. You'll notice inside Marty's place, he does not have any mulch. And that was something I had to learn, because Marty liked to dig into the mulch, and on those cold, cold nights that we can get, it's really a pain in the neck for me to dig around and try and find him. I don't want to leave him in the mulch because I'm just a little worried that he might get too cold and catch some kind of respiratory problem. Or potentially on a really cold night, if we get down to freezing, which happens every once in a while, I wouldn't want him to die. So I removed all the mulch so that his best option to get out of the cold or to hide is in the heated shelter. Uh-oh, you know where we're going. We're going inside the lizard cage here. We've got Slinky moving down. Hey, Slinks. So here's Slinky's home. And yeah, like I said, it's been raining just a ton, so I like to pull their heating boxes up high so that they don't have any chance to get inundated with water. Now, even though he's a water monitor, I like to make sure he has the option to stay warm and dry during those cold temperatures, because just to, I don't know, with some tortoises, I know that if they get cold and damp, it could be a real problem in creating issues for them as far as upper respiratory problems. So I just thought, let's make sure the lizards have a nice, dry, warm place as well. The best place for me to do that is up high. Okay, now we're in to Guapo and Lola. And right now, they're making use of this roof as a basking platform. And if you were to feel this roof, you'd feel that it's actually really, really warm. So they're using it and they're adapting to a man-made structure here that's providing a lot of heat. Hi, sweetheart. Look at this lizard. She is pleasantly plump, and when you feel her, she's just so warm. Today, it's only in the low 70s, but on this particular roof, I guarantee you, just by touching it, it's got to be close to 100 degrees, which is what these animals really love to bask in. There he is, guapo, everyone. Oh, yes, he's going to look very regal by closing his eye. Nice job. And she's as beautiful as ever. And again, naturalistic in certain areas. Obviously, I had to use man-made materials to kind of keep this up off the ground and insulated. They've got a log they can climb up. They sunbathe because, as you can see, the sun hits this directly first. And then as the sun changes its temperature, or rather its direction and position in the sky, the reptiles, the lizards here, will change where they decide they want to bask. There's some food left over from yesterday, but these guys are looking good, man. I'm really digging it. We've brought in the snakes for the season because it's a little cool, so I've got them in the snake room. But these lizards are very smart. And they go into this enclosure right here, this heated shelter, every single night. So that's really cool that they've learned to do that. Also, we've got the Chinese box turtles. Here's one just hanging out. And these guys I don't worry about because they are actually able to take the cooler temps. And they take it by burrowing into the mud. And as the temps warm up, they start to move out of that mud. We've got Solomon over there now. He's no longer, Solomon and El Diablo are not in here for the season because it's easier for me to just kind of keep them in a roll-away cage that I can move in and out of the sun rather than have to go get them every night and pull them out. So I've just been doing that. It's just a little easier. So some of the cages are actually empty right now. All right, there's Slinky. We're going to do a cleaning on his pond. Some of you ask, why is it always murky? Well, what happens is every day, the water, as you can see the PVC pipes, okay, so there's water that comes out of the bottom. It stirs up all the mud and muck, and it goes into that standpipe and then drains out way in the back there where my big ficus tree is, and it kind of feeds the ficus, but it also drains this out. Every month I'll get in and I'll kind of go ahead and make sure that I suck out any of that dirt and mud and muck. So depending on when the videos are, it's either it's murky because as soon as he goes in, he stirs up all that mud at the bottom. But that is, believe it or not, water that gets cleaned out every single day. You got yourself in a predicament there, buddy. What's going on? That does not look comfortable. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go for a walk? I'm not doing it. You got to stay in today because I got so much to do after this video, pal. So yeah, I'm just showing you some of the little tricks that I have to do for my animal husbandry and for the different animals that are in my care here at Kamp Kenan. And I hope you guys are finding this video somewhat useful. Some of you may be wanting to do a similar thing that I did. Maybe you want to move down to Florida, you want to move to Arizona, you want to move someplace where it's warm most of the year so you can keep your animals outdoors. It's always been a dream of mine to do that. So maybe I'm inspiring some of you to do that as well, which I think is a good thing because we're helping animals. Okay, so here we go. There's the monkey tail skink enclosure, just a simple one. There's Leon. Hey, Leon, he's getting big. Here are the baby rhinos I was talking about earlier. There's some baby sulcatas in there as well. But here are the baby rhinos all looking to get some sun. Hey, guys, we're going to give them some more food here in a little bit. Everyone's going to get fed because they ate all their food from yesterday. So very, very good stuff here, everybody. And then, of course, there's the things that I have planned for the future. Oh, hey, Hercules. How you doing, buddy? Hercules is now living out here because if I put him in with the other sulcatas, there'd just be combat all the time. So he gets to go inside that barn. All right, so there you have it. I have just now answered your question and then some, I think. We've learned a lot about animal husbandry, how it is possible to do it indoors and outdoors. I only speak about the outdoor stuff because that's kind of what the kind of mode of operation I'm doing here at Kamp Kenan. Although I do have some cool things in the work for this year where we're going to be getting more into indoor terrariums, and we're going to be teaching you guys how to do the right thing for your animals inside. And I can't wait till I can blow the lid off those videos. But regardless, this is what I'm up to today. I'm going to get to work. Got some cleaning to do on that front aquascape pond. But other than that, pretty easy to keep these animals happy. Here's some of the leopards. Before I go, have a look at them. I like to keep them in a drier environment, and that's why they're over here, because it's elevated a little bit more than some of the other places out back. As you can see, it gets a little bit wet. So you want to make sure the dry species stay dry, and then the more humidity loving or species that really enjoy hanging out in the water, they get to stay in the water. All right, everybody, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much, Larry, for your question and support on Patreon. I hope you guys have a great new year. I know I'm having one. Well, so far so good, right? I mean, you got tortoises, you got blue skies, really can't complain. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me here on Kamp Kenan. I hope you guys have a great new year, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Be good to your animals. See ya.